the zoning appeals board on this Monday, November 16th. Ms. Kuka?
Thank you. My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm going to read the preamble this morning. In compliance with notification requirements of Ohio's open meeting law, under COVID-19 emergency declaration, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Absence during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel. Oh, something is happening here.
Sorry, someone's asking for a meeting invite.
In the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version, and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. Maurice, I can't see the other side of the screen. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Next slide. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. A roll call, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We know that Ms. Barnes is not here this morning. Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
Ms. Faith.
Present.
And Mrs. Johnson.
Yes, I'm here.
Mrs. Johnson, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We have any we do have postponements.
We have a minimum quorum, by the way.
Yeah.
You have to make the announcement about.
It's going to have to be 100%.
Right. It'll have to
decision by all the members present today. Okay, the postponements are calendar 20-123 and calendar 20-135. We have a date, Mrs. Coco?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, this is for both calendar numbers 123 and 128. We could give them a December date. That would be 3 weeks out. That's a month away. December 14th. How's that sound for you? And again, those are both the side avenue cases, 123 and 128.
Okay. And on 135?
Madam Chair, we have the date of November 23rd. This was previously postponed by the board as we were notified that Ms. Britt would not be here today. So this is just a placeholder, a notification, just in case anybody came to the meeting this morning. Public notices have been mailed out and it has been posted in the city record.
Thank you very much. Let's go back to the original calendar 20-167. Mrs. Faith?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Calendar number 20-167 at 2418 Professor Avenue. 2418 Professor LLC owner proposes for interior renovations and establish use as a bar/lounge and art gallery in a C1 general retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Thank you very much. The legal stand will be judging the case then.
No.
Well, let's swear people in first.
Okay.
Here's an idea. For everyone for this case, please raise your right hand. I'm going to read a statement. I'm looking for a response that says, I do, and then your name. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Name? Your name?
Michael Topsick.
Okay, anyone else?
I do, Khalid Hawthorne.
All right, anyone else? Hearing that, let us move forward.
Tanya Kaiser?
Tanya Kaiser, okay. Anyone else?
I do. Ara Abdullah.
Okay.
Oh, wait, yes.
Anyone else?
I do, Tessa Berg.
A bit of people here. Anyone else? Finally, moving on up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In the records room, I found a permit was issued in 1916 to erect a garage. Madam Chair, also in the records room, I found that a permit was issued in 1961 to remodel a storefront. There are no variances on file. And in the more recent history, I found in 2000, a permit was issued to re-roof the property. 2010, permit was issued to install new windows. 2011.
I'm sorry. Some are loud, some are soft.
Excuse me, please mute your microphone if you're not talking.
In 2011, an application was made for vinyl siding. And in 2016, a permit was issued for a privacy fence. That's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Now we have the legal standard. You're both.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the off-street parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variance not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. Is the representative of 218 professor here? Of all those here,
Yes,
who's the owner of the property?
this is Tessa Berg, an owner of the building at Professor.
Okay, exactly what you'd like to do.
I have our tenant Tanya Kaiser here to describe what the plans are.
Hi. So it's a contemporary art gallery. It has an amenity bar. Its first purpose is to be an art gallery where we have interdisciplinary programming to marriage the arts with the sciences. It's something that the bar is just something to help us with to be sustainable in this time. It's not our primary focus. Our hours would be closed by 10 o'clock. And we would have weekend hours. And again, we would be closed by 10 o'clock going forward, even past COVID.
Talk to us about parking spaces.
I'm sorry, what?
Parking spaces?
So since we're not a restaurant or primarily a bar is not our function, we don't have the seating that a restaurant would or a bar would. We have very limited seating because it's meant to be an art gallery. So I don't foresee us needing a lot of parking spots. I did talk to a valet service that would move forward for us if that's something that we need to pursue. But again, we don't have a lot of seating set up for that kind of business.
Are you going to have a liquor license associated with the building and the business, an ongoing liquor license?
Yes.
Okay. And that would allow you to serve alcohol up till, what, 1 o'clock usually?
Yes.
Okay. And did you cite any parking availability? Can we go back to what the variance reason what are the exact issues we're looking at here?
The lack of any parking. They're
That's
required to
it.
have 12 spaces and they have none.
Okay. All right, let me stop asking questions, let other people ask and answer.
So anyone else that would like to make a comment? Khalid Hawthorne.
Yes. Good evening. Good morning, everybody. Chairwoman. I'm fast forwarding ahead. Get us day over with. So yes, Khalid Hawthorne with Tremont West Development Corporation. This potential gallery is right beside our office. We support this. Tanya has been to the Block Club and Tremont West Economic Development Corporation's Tremont West Economic Development Committee and receive support from both. I will send letters of support when I get those from the community. But yeah, so as far as is concerned, there's an existing valet program there, and Tanya actually reached out to us to see if we would be willing to utilize 2 of our spaces in front of our office for those valet spots. And like I said, existing valet program, Fahrenheit and Bourbon Street share on one side. So this company and the part of the cars will be going to the rear lot here behind the building where the library is. That's where the parking is located. So that's another reason why we support this project. And for the most part, there's on-street parking, but like I said, the valet program helps alleviate the congestion in that area for the competition, especially for businesses who want to have that added convenience for their customers.
Okay, we have a support letter from Councilman McCormick.
Okay.
Awesome.
Khalid, I would just as a point of reference, when we dial those clocks back, it's only an hour.
Thanks, Tim.
Number 2 is, these issues that we're dealing with, and I understand the complexity of them, given the recent antagonism, especially with art galleries and their ability or inability to be able to legally serve alcohol for openings and special performances. But, we got to go back to our roots there in a way that, when we give a variance away, it's for the property. It's not for the person running the property at the moment. Mm-hmm. And it will stay that way unless it's suspended for a certain amount of time. So therefore, all our deliberations have to keep in mind that fact.
Right. And the general store was there before, also had a variance for parking for that general store. And I realized that this would be a variance for, basically you're saying this would be a variance for an entertainment venue that if this does not work out, another entertainment venue could come to this location, correct?
I'm not sure. It's in the review of this by Building and Housing, was this treated like a bar or was this treated like an art gallery?
Mr. Riccardi? Mr. Riccardi?
All right. Which one is the heavier use?
I would imagine it would be the bar.
Yeah,
I would imagine so as well. Well, we got a lot of people that signed in. Let's hear from them.
Yes.
Is there anyone else that would like to talk? Please raise your hand. Use the raise hand feature. We have nobody else with their hands raised.
I'm trying. I don't know how the feature works.
So go ahead and speak up. You're the applicant. You can go ahead and speak.
So my background is in fine arts. I was a director of a museum. And this is going to be operating as a gallery. We have programming featuring artists from all over the world. The first exhibition is technology and art. Our primary focus is art and the community. And so the bar, like I said, is just an amenity to help us sustain programming to support the artists, because typically an art gallery would charge fees for an artist to show, even in the form of submission fees to get their applicants sent to show art. So that's what the angle is with the bar amenity, but it's for no way our primary focus.
Just for the heck of it, is it, Blaine, is there anybody working on any kind of like rewriting of the zoning code that would look to create a product here that would reflect what the applicant here is trying to do? Because it seems like this issue's been around for a little while now.
Tim, I don't know. I will take it up with Director Collier. I will tell you that he is in the process of revising his foreign-based zoning and looking at those things. So I will bring that up with him.
Does that make any sense to city planners that are on the call here? Or is there anything that you guys know about? Or
Maurice?
No, I'm not aware of anything at the moment.
All right. Well, it's not to stall this action, but just to, I think it seems to me that there's a better solution out there to be had for both the applicant and the community, and it's probably going to take a new piece of legislation to have it, though.
And this is Khalid again. Thank you for bringing that up, Tim. And it's something that has come up numerous times, especially other applicants for this. Other potential tenants for this location and our storefront, our incubator space in our space. So, and other places in along Professor, and we've had to turn away businesses because of that, because of the, they weren't necessarily, the alcohol wasn't a primary service of their establishment, but it was definitely secondary, and it created limitations where they could not open up in that area.
Yeah. Okay.
Was there anybody else sworn in for this case? I had somebody named Raha. Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
By the way, Madam Chair, City Planning does support this project with the support of the councilman and the CDC. We feel that this is a good reuse for this property.
Thank you.
And you do have two, did I hear that there has been at least 2 parking spaces that are controlled by Tremont West that are going to be made available to help address the parking issue?
That would be, wait. So it's not controlled by us. It's on-street parking in front of our establishment that the valet service will be able to utilize. So we have to approve of allowing that use in front of our building.
So the testimony in terms of the valet service, and that this isn't maybe your answer, Khalid, but maybe the applicant, can you describe what if any relationship this facility will have with the valet parking program in Tremont?
Currently, there's a valet stop across the street at Fahrenheit. But I also talked to them about setting up our own, which would be immediately across the street from Fahrenheit, which would be in front of West Tremont's building. And they would use the same lot that Fahrenheit's using. It's the same service. It's just, it'll be doubled on both sides of the street.
So if I were to describe that in a motion, what would I say? That you are going to be entering into an agreement for valet parking to meet the demands of the parking as it pertains to gallery openings, etc. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but
right. Sorry. Yes, my thing is that we have openings, but then we also, the art's open the gallery's open the whole time. So would it be ongoing valet service or would it only be for special events?
You tell me.
I mean, it'd be great. I think special events would be a better solution because I can't imagine it being crowded any other time.
Right.
I think I would agree with your assessment in that. I don't think there'd be a difference in terms of use. Maybe, there may be people in Tremont walking around, but they do that every day. What do you think, Alana? You got a motion in mind? Or?
Well, we very often make the acceptance of these sorts of things conditional on a contract with a valet service. So is that something you might want to include in the motion?
Sure. Yeah, I think we got to address parking. I don't think you just not address parking.
Yeah, okay. So, Madam Chair, with that in mind, I think we'll go, I'll motion on calendar number 20-167 at 2418 Professor that we accept the variance on the condition that the appellant supply to us a contractual agreement with the valet service with the understanding that the service will be used at events and peak traffic situations.
Second.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And is that pending the contractual agreement or is that just with the understanding that there will be a contractual agreement?
To the appellant, let's ask the appellant if she is able to supply that for us, so that within a week.
I think if you make it a condition, you've got to say it'll be ratified upon submission.
Right. So I'm asking the appellant, is she able to submit that within a week's time for us?
No, she has 2 weeks. She has 2 weeks.
So I spoke to them already. They just need a letter from Tremont West, and they have to see if that's okay for them to use those spots in front of their buildings.
Okay.
By the way, we don't care where they pick them up there.
Right.
Just, it doesn't bother us. We don't care. Oh, really?
Okay.
So,
Liz, does that answer your question?
Yes and no. So this is a private valet company, or is it a valet company, or is it a valet program provided through Tremont West? Or did we get that answer?
It is a private valet company, but like it's shared amongst the other restaurants in the areas I've mentioned before. We did have we tried a valet program before, but we didn't get enough participation and payment from everybody to make it one by all of us. So, yeah.
Khalid, how many of those people that bowed out of that program did so knowing that was part of a process that gave them a variance?
That preceded my time with Tremont West, so I do not have that exact information.
I'm going to suggest that we ask Tremont West to help supply an answer to that question, because I don't think that's right to come here and then say, hey, well, here's how we're going to solve our parking, and you give us a letter, and then a year later you bail out of the system because you're no longer solving the problem.
Mm-hmm. And I think from what I do understand, some of them been out there for 20-something years. So the valet was a solution to an existing problem, and for the most part, every new business either has access to some type of parking, or either they have access to some type of parking, or the impact wouldn't be to the extent that where they would need valet service. Where this one kind of teeters in the middle, where hopefully people on there in droves, right? And it's super successful. but also it's yeah. So like I said, it's on the edge of where other people may have 2 or 3, 4 people at a time for sure. Where this is a business that may or may not draw that many people. We want to make sure that, especially for those events, that there's coverage. And I think it will work out better for her clients as well. Yeah.
Well, in both Ohio City and I think Detroit Shoreway now, and Little Italy, they have an ongoing kind of scorecard, if you will, on how many parking spaces are available where. And so, we lined up, variances that we've given based on how many spaces they needed. And so therefore, at least we have a rough understanding on what the mathematical equation is to try to make sure when people say to us, hey, there's not enough parking in Tremont, what are you doing here? We can say, well, we've actually assessed that and here's where we stand.
Got you.
So, yeah. All right. Sorry about that sidebar, but we have a motion. I think we have a second.
Yeah. So back to Ms. Kukla. Do you have answers to all your questions now?
Yes. Yes, Madam Chair. The other thing I would suggest for the motion or for the resolution itself is that we make the hours of operation part of the motion, and also the condition that the bar is only an accessory use and not the main use.
Okay. Ms. Gray, are you adding that into your motion?
Right.
Okay.
To the appellant, what is you're going to close at 10. So what is your opening hour?
During the week, 4 p.m. and on weekends, it would be noon to 10.
Okay. And I'm sorry, during the week, what was it?
4 p.m. to 10.
4 p.m. until and on the weekend. Okay. All right.
Madam Chair, I have one more question. The bar itself, is it only open during quote unquote special events and gallery quote unquote openings, or is it open every day?
It's a gallery, so we want it accessible to the public so they can come view the art. So it is open, not just for openings, but whenever there's art on display.
So
that pardon me?
Is it from 4 to 10 day?
Yeah, 4 to 10. We're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays starting out, and maybe we'll add Tuesdays. It depends on the need for people to come see the art.
So that bar is open then?
Okay.
Okay.
She says it's a role plan.
Okay.
Okay. So are we ready to move forward, everyone?
Well, we have a motion and we have a second. We need a roll call.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Calendar 20-169 167 is granted with conditions. We will hold ratification until we have that contract, and then we will ratify it and send you a letter.
Thank you all. Okay. Calendar 20-169.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Calendar number 20-169 at 1940 East 124th Street. Robin Garcia, owner, proposes to construct a new 3-story single-family residence with detached 2-car garage on a 3,500 square foot lot in a C1 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Thank you very much. Lori, Ms. Wagner?
Well, everyone for this case, please raise your right hand, except Carol. I'm going to read a statement. I'm looking for a response of I do in your name. Here we go. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Blaine Griffin.
I do Donald Pettit.
I do Fred Margulies.
Okay. Anyone else? Hearing that, let's move forward.
Oh, now I have the history of the property.
Wow, your mic's really bad.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. It was changed in 1984 to multifamily. In the records room, I found a permit was issued in 1923 to erect a two-story garage. In 1927, a permit was issued to erect a dwelling addition. There are no variances on file. And in the more recent history, I found that October of this year, a permit was issued to demolish a two-story frame. Actually, a permit was applied for. I'm not sure if it may still be pending. A permit was applied for to demolish a two-story frame, single-family dwelling unit and garage. That's all that I had, Madam Chair.
Looking to law department, Ms. Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from the maximum gross floor area, side yard, and garage setback requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. And I would just note that item 5 on the request for variance, as far as city planning approval being required, is not something that this board can grant a variance for or waive.
No, yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, who's going to be the spokesperson? Robin Garcia.
Fred Margulies.
Madam Chair, we have an issue with this project. I have no presentation materials, never received any. Mr. Pettit, when was this on Landmarks?
This was reviewed by us on February 13, 2020.
Okay, I wouldn't have those pictures then. Okay.
You should have access to those.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
So Robin Garcia is not with us.
We need to go to the next case. If there's no appellant here, then we can't hear a case.
Mr. Griffin, do you have any knowledge for this part of the case?
No, you can go ahead to the next case. To be honest with you, I think it might have been a mix-up. I did talk with the Development Corporation, and it seems like a couple of people did not know that this was on the agenda today. So we may need to just talk to them and have them come back, okay?
Madam Chair, I do see Robin Garcia on the chat. I mean, on the list. They're here.
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, there they go. Okay. All right. I know. Okay. There.
Were you sworn in?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Let's start presenting your case.
Fred, Mr. Margulies, are you with the appellant, Robin Garcia, or are you representing her?
I'm the architect, and I've been working through this project with Landmarks since day one, and have been involved with Garcia's, and I'm Garcia's, and I am signed agent for them.
Okay. Do we have a letter on file that you can represent them?
Yes.
Mrs.
Okay,
Cooper? Mrs. Cooper, do we have that letter?
I don't seem to have it in my file. Perhaps it was emailed to me recently. Mr. Margulies, do you know when you emailed that to me?
With the application.
Yes, Madam Chair, I see it now. It is attached to the application. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Margulies.
Okay.
Well, just a little history. We've been, when we were approved in February at Landmarks, that was the third submission. We were going through design process with them for approximately 6 months, and made some changes along the way, obviously for appropriateness and what they were looking for. But what this was, we were taken by surprise with this because, after we got the approval, we submitted for permit back in, created the construction documents and then submitted for permit in May. And then this we got flagged by this in October. So I'd like to go through these items, and obviously I saw Donald Pettit's comment that they have no objection to any of these. If you want to go one by one in terms of the floor area and so forth.
Excuse me, Mr. Margulies. I was able to find the landmarks presentation for this project, which I have up on screen now. If you wanted to go through that.
Sure.
I like them doing the variances.
Yeah, that me too.
Yeah.
Just concentrate on the variances.
What was that?
Yeah.
Just address the variances that you request.
Well, okay, so the variances, most of which had to do with the garage, because of the existing garage kind of shares a wall, and there are photos in the attachment that I had submitted. The property behind us, our walls butt each other, so we couldn't achieve. Number one, we couldn't achieve the 18 inches without destroying the neighbor's garage. We couldn't provide maintenance back there and so forth relative to if we pulled the garage back from that, even if we could. There's a common wall, and if we tried to remove some of that, and I believe in my construction documents, I'm trying to rebuild that, but I'm looking at probably trying to maintain a lot of that solely because of how connected it is to the garage behind us. The property itself is 35 feet wide, and to achieve the 18 feet required as a side yard setback from Alexander Road there would make a garage that would be impossible to use because it would only be about 12 to 14 feet wide in order to achieve that. The existing garage doesn't even meet that from that standpoint. As you can see, I don't know if you can see in the presentation, page A1.2 shows what we are doing relative to the dotted is what is existing. And that was part of the presentation to Landmarks Commission and submitted. So we're wrestling with obviously that side yard setback and the separations because we have two walls that are on the property line. The existing garage is built on the property line. The other item is, gross floor area. We didn't see this we didn't see it as addressed it. We were looking at the neighborhood in terms of what was being built in the houses. This is still a small house relative to what's gone on around this from that standpoint. And we didn't see this as an issue that was raised, but I do understand it. And I do, when I look to the zoning code and I see a lot of reference to 40-foot lots, and we are a 35-foot lot, and I understand obviously it is our lot, but with that, if this was a 40-foot wide lot, these are non-issues in terms of area usage. But once again, we are still smaller in area than surrounding residences from that standpoint. And it's an insignificant number too, in terms of, it was raised that we are allowed 1,750 square feet. And it was noted because of our area calculations with our third level at 2,350, but that is not like that's not a residential. I mean, it is, it's a support. The third floor is a support. So what we see is, I mean, we are technically still over at what I calculate as 1996 square feet in terms of area. And once again, like I said, it's based on the 35 foot lot, 35 foot wide lot. So it's kind of a tough calculation to try and reduce this down to something of 1,700 square foot.
Are you saying that it's
I'm sorry?
agenda? On my agenda, it says that you are going for 2,350 square feet.
Right. Well, that's what was calculated out by Marcos. He used that because he added up all the numbers that we had on the cover page of our permit, only because I just did all calculated area. But then when he said, no, we don't count the basement space because there's no bedroom down there, I understood that. And I said, well, wouldn't we not calculate the third floor because there's no bedroom in there as well? Because it's a roof deck with just supporting indoor space. So I subtracted that. I would say, yes, if we can get the 2,300, that meets what Marcos was saying we needed a variance for. What I'm saying is, I guess in calculation is that it really, from an area calculation, it probably should have only been listed at 1996, more or less. Okay. That's what I was saying.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, excuse me.
Yes.
Madam Chair, excuse me. Question to Mr. Margulies. So what for your first and second floor, understanding that the third floor is really just the sort of a bird's nest kind of thing. What's your square footage for your first and second floor then? Do you have that calculation?
That's the 1996.
1996, okay. So you're not, your overage of the 1,750 is much more minimal at that.
Yeah, 240 square.
Okay. So really we're looking at 240 square feet, really.
Yes.
For a living space. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Now there are others that.
And I think
John,
the last item was relative to side yard setback on the street side, the Alexander side, because it was 3.5 feet is required by ordinance, and we were always promoting basically 2 foot. If you go to a 2.0 in the Landmarks Commission, that'll show you our dimensions on that in terms of how we were looking at this property. And there's photos that show the existing house is built within that, like 2 foot and 1 foot even in one spot to the property line over there. Albeit token, we're looking for a little bit more green space over there, which they don't have right now. It's all cemented in. I don't know if you can see any of the photos that we had submitted on that side yard.
I don't know. Is that
it's
the right
separate
visual? Can you put the right visual up, Maurice?
That's the wrong project.
Yeah, I'm sorry, went too far. What visual would you like?
It would be.
I mean, I have pictures, I think, let's say, of the side. Yeah.
I mean, that's one of them there. Yeah. The one on the upper right, you can't see it, but that little bump out is only a foot off the property line. The existing house is like 2'2" off the property line, and that fence is on the property line.
Yeah, I believe it will be an increase in green space on the side street.
And not only that, it's actually, like I said, it's all concreted in there right now. We're looking to establish green space, as you can see by our representation.
The Landmarks approved the new design as well. Did you guys weigh in on that?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Griffin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I talked extensively with the Development Corporation and the design review team. And after really making sure that I understood that the neighbors were engaged and understood what we were really trying to accomplish on that corner, I am full in support of this. And, they have no opposition from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Board, other questions?
A lot of,
Madam Chair, I think Mr. Pettit is with us and might have a comment he'd like to make. Is Don still with us?
Thank you, Ms. Faith. The Landmarks Commission approved this back in February. We saw it 3 times. It was also approved by the Little Italy Design Review Committee. We approved the demolition of the existing house and garage and the new construction, so that it's both contextual and we think they've simplified the material palette. It meets all of our standards. So we have no objection to the variances. I would like to point out that historically, Alexander Avenue was added later. It was built much after the construction of this house. So some of these conditions of this property are a hardship created by the introduction of Alexander Avenue. So I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that.
Thank you.
Good information. Thank you.
No other questions? I'll entertain a motion. Oh, Maurice, City Cleveland Planning.
Yes, Madam Chair, Maurice Rowland, City Planning, of course, with the support of the councilman and the support of the Landmarks Commission and the neighborhood, we, of course, support this project and all the variances.
Now we can move it forward.
Okay. Are there any other comments?
No.
Okay. Madam Chair, on calendar number 20-169 at 1940 East 124th Street, with the support of Councilperson Griffin, with the support of the City of Cleveland Landmarks and City of Cleveland City Planning, with the special note that the side street, I think that's interesting information, the side street was added later, so that adds to the hardship of the property that's only 35 feet wide. I'd like to move that we go ahead and approve the variances, section number 1, with regard to gross floor plan. They're really looking at an overage of 240 feet. Number 2, which is the required side yard. Number 3, the detached garage. Number 4, the garage distances. Those are all variances we often see in these very small lots.
Madam Chair, if I can interrupt Ms. Faith real quick. Mr. Riccardi typed in the chat that per code, the space is considered floor space. If the zoning variance is granted, you should use the original numbers that were cited in the code, just to make sure you get it right. Sorry to interrupt.
Right. That's fine. Thank you. So we're going to go with the calculated floor space of 2350, which includes all 3 floors. And then back to item number 5, Ms. Wagner has made the statement that the Board of Zoning Appeals cannot approve number 5 because that is not within our purview. So with all of that, I believe we can move forward and approve the variances that are within our purview to approve, and with the support of all parties that we've heard from.
Second.
Tim, call the roll.
Mr. Donovan.
Second.
Ms. Faith? Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Calendar 20-169 is granted. It'll be ratified next week, and we will send you a letter.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you very much.
Is
Ms.
Mr. Pettit still with us?
Calendar
Still
20-170.
here.
I would just like to make a side comment to Mr. Pettit and the Landmarks Commission. I watched the video launch of the University Circle new museum on the Underground Railroad, and the Landmarks Commission was credited on that project. And so I just wanted to give you kudos for working on that. It's a really nice addition to the city and the University Circle neighborhood.
Hey, thank you, Ms. Faith. I appreciate the call out there. It's a great project. We agree with you. A lot of the credit goes to UCI. They took it on when nobody else would, and so I'm glad you got a chance to see it, and I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair, for that tangent. Back to business. Calendar number 20-170 at 3811 Clinton Avenue. Crossroad Home LLC owner and Jason Rohal, prospective purchaser, proposed to erect a 3-story frame single-family residence with a detached garage in a B1 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the following sections of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Thank you very much.
Anyone that's going to testify in this case, please raise your right hand. I'm going to read a statement. Your response is I do with your name. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. Jason Rohal.
Anyone else?
I do, Donald Pettit.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Looks like that's it.
Thank you.
That's over there.
History of the property.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally zoned multifamily in 1929. In 2011, it was changed to the 2-family district. In the records room, I found that in 1956, a permit was issued for a dwelling foundation only. Oh, sorry, that was 1954. And then also in that same month, Madam Chair, a permit was issued to move a building, a single-family dwelling, from 4711 Tillman to the rear of this property. And then in 1980, a permit was issued to erect a chain link fence. And then there are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history.
Thank you very much. Healing from Law Department. Swag.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from the minimum lot width, maximum gross floor area, and distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. Is there a representative of Crossroad Health? Jason, are you representing that?
I apologize. The sound was breaking up just slightly right there.
I wanted to know if you were representing Crossroad Home.
Yes, that is correct. So just as a quick preface here. So my wife, Christine, and I, so I'm a licensed architect myself. So designing the home, and we are an agent or legal representative. There's a form on file right now with Ms. Kupla, and we are authorized to represent the current owner, Crossroads Homes. They currently own this entire double-wide lot. We are proposing and have sought approval and gained approval to split the lot. We are only seeking to build our home on the eastern portion of this lot. In the center, the upper center photo that you'll see in the screen right here, where you see the little swing that's in the yard, we are looking to build on the current vacant portion of the lot. The other portion of the lot is being sold, and we are proposing no changes to the historic structure that was just noted, that was moved to the site. So we are only proposing construction on the vacant portion of the lot here. Mr. Rulins, are you in control of the slides here?
I am.
All right. I have a site plan in here, if you wouldn't mind advancing. Yes. So this is perfect, actually, right here. So we are in the Clinton Historic District. We have also sought and received approval for the design of the home from Block Club, Ohio City Design Review, as well as Landmarks. Our design, as it is presented here, was approved by all of those bodies. We are proposing, as was indicated, a 3-story single-family dwelling with a detached garage, similar to those that are found elsewhere on Clinton Avenue. We are on the south side of the street, just west of West 38th Street. We have a carriage house at the rear, and we have a home with 5-foot setbacks for the home itself, with a 17-foot setback for the home, 10-foot setback for our front porch from the right of way. You also you can see in the left-hand image here, we are proposing, as you see between the two images right here, we are proposing to build only on the eastern portion of this lot right here. And as I understand, I actually have the letter of nonconformance in front of me. The minimum gross, the lot width of 40 feet was approved by city planning previously. The accessory building within 15 feet from any building on an adjacent lot, that was approved by the Block Club, in which we spoke personally with the owners of the homes, who the accessory structure would be adjacent to. They gave formal approval for that, and city planning did also approve the issue, or the substandard lot size, as was indicated above. So what we are seeking today would be a variance of the maximum gross floor area. We exceed it by 50 square feet, or approximately 1.5% per the current zoning code. And I also have included some photos here of the proposed home. Mr. Rulins, if you wouldn't mind advancing the slide again here.
Sure.
Some elevations here of the home. And then if you wouldn't mind advancing to the renderings of the looking at the front of the house. I believe it might be the next. Yes. Right here. That's at the end of my commentary, and please, any questions that you may have, I'd be very, very happy to answer them.
So, Madam Chair, you don't need number 2, item number 2 in the adjudication.
Okay.
Is that correct, Mr. Rohal?
I believe
you are 15 feet from the adjacent building. The garage was moved since the adjudication was written.
We are actually. We're approximately 15 feet, but we received approval from Block Club. I just want to make sure that we're going through all of the proper channels here.
Because the adjudication says that originally you were proposing 8 feet.
Oh, I see.
That's why I was questioning it, and it seems like you meet it. It seems like you meet it now because you're calling out 15 feet.
Yep, we're 15 feet and
that.
17 foot 6 from the closest dwelling. So so correct that that might be a moot point at this point in time.
Maybe we should ask Mr. Riccardi. Do you think that was the 8 feet that they were talking about in number 2? He has to type it, so it might take a minute.
Gotcha.
Is the parcel next to you, Mr. Rojas, for sale?
The parcel to the west of us.
Mr. Riccardi is asking, is the garage going to be 15 feet from the house or 8 feet?
The garage will be 15 feet from the adjacent structure to the west. Okay, got it.
Okay, then the variance for that item is, so number 2 is not required.
Okay.
So it's just number 1. And why does it need city planning approval? Wouldn't it need just landmarks approval?
Not sure, but we did receive approvals from both bodies.
Madam Chair, to Mr. Rulins, it does say that the city planning approval is required for the substandard lot. So that's the 40-foot dimension.
Okay, thank you.
That's
I
required.
didn't have that on my agenda. Okay.
Mr. Pettit is with us.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. The Landmarks Commission approved this project last Thursday, November 12th. We saw it twice. The applicants addressed all the concerns of the commission. So we totally support the project and we have no objection to the variances.
Thank you, Don. Okay, the other questions, comments, or? Motion.
Madam Chair, I have no other questions. We've confirmed the item number 2, so that's taken care of. So on calendar number 20-170 at 3811 Clinton Avenue, I move that we approve variance number 1 and variance number 3. This is fairly typical for our small lots in the city. The appellant has received approval from landmarks, from city planning, and from the Ohio City Design and Review Board. So I think we're a go on this project.
Second.
Madam Chair, this is Lauren Wagner. Could I make a comment?
Yes.
The number 3 does not need to be included in that motion because that refers to the lot split, which has already been approved by the Planning Commission. So
great.
It should just be number 1.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lori.
Second.
Call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Calendar 20-170 is granted. We will ratify it next week and send you a letter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Calendar 20-171.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Calendar 20-171 at 4120 East 131st Street. Talib Abdullah, owner, proposes to establish the use as a daycare in a B1 local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinance as stated in the agenda and the public record. And that section is section 349.04C, which states that 1 parking space for each 2 staff members and other employees. No off-street parking is proposed. Filed October 20th, 2020.
Thank you very much.
Everyone for this case, please raise your right hand. Again, I will give you a statement. I'm looking for responses of I do with your name. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. Martha Fields.
I do.
Thank you.
Ara Abdullah.
Thank you.
I do. Amanda Kramer.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I don't believe we have anyone else. Mr.
Right.
Donovan.
Let us move it on to history.
Okie dokie. Mrs. Kruger.
My video, oh, there we go. Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 2011, it was changed to local retail business. In the records from I found in 1940, a permit was issued to erect a store building. And later in 1940, a permit was issued to move a store building from the site to 3980 East 131st Street. And permit was issued in 1978 to convert to Police Athletic Center. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history.
Thank you. The legal standard, please, Ms. Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting an area variance from the off-street parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Who's going to be the spokesperson? Is that going to be Ms. Abdullah?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Please tell us exactly what you'd like to do.
Okay, so my husband and I purchased this building that had been used as a daycare from 2005 up to when we purchased it last August 2019. So we sent in the site plan as well as, the floor plan and things like that. And it was determined that, since there was no employee parking, we wouldn't be able to move forward with opening it as a daycare. I contacted the church that is immediately next to us at 4018 East 131st, because they have like a parking lot on the other side of Marston. So they were not interested in allowing us to, make an agreement to, use their parking area. So I contacted the Union Miles Development Corporation. And, after knowing all the steps that we have been trying to take with getting, just trying to get our daycare over there and get started, which includes, we purchased the lot that is behind us at 129, wait, what is that? 12926 Marston. So we bought that lot, so it's kind of like an L shape, hoping that we would be able to use a section of that, not only for parking, but for the kids to be able to have some additional green space to go out and play. So all of that being in mind, Miss Amanda and Joe Duffy were very helpful with helping us obtain 4 parking lots over at their plaza. 4 parking spaces, I'm sorry, not 4 parking lots. That'd be a little bit much.
Okay, are the children just getting dropped off in the front? Everyone?
Yeah. Yes. And considering that there is, there's an empty lot, you can see to the left of our building, there's an empty lot, which we are praying to be able to purchase at some point. And then being able to put, parking over in that lot, as well as additional green space and hopefully like a community garden, some things like that for the community. So we really want to be able to, bring some additional beauty and character, to the area.
Do we have any, okay, a lot that she purchased on Mars. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm pointing, but nobody can see what I'm doing. Is the lot that you purchased, is that 1381002?
I'm sorry, you were breaking up. Can you repeat that?
1381002.
No, that's the existing church.
Oh.
I think she purchased 138-10114 on the current map. Is that correct?
Yes.
So she purchased the yellow property right behind them. And then you were talking about potentially were you trying to acquire number 34 as well?
Absolutely.
So they're trying to acquire 34 as well, which is the pink lot to the, what would be south on this one. If I understand her correctly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Has there been any thinking of using the back as a drop-off area? Where you'd be off the street?
I mean, we thought about it because even like as far as, you know, that the area next to the church, for the fact that there's no houses over there. So it's not like you would really be blocking, somebody's property or driveway. So we definitely wanted to have that as an option. But just for the sake of, being able to, meet the requirements that you guys expect, until anything else happens, our employees would just have to, take a little walk over and, get to work. But yes, definitely the parents would be able to, park, walk around the corner, drop the kids off. Some people, the previous administrator and I, she's very helpful and she has been giving me, some tips and hints on, being over there and running a daycare. So she said usually the parents would just pull up, put their hazards on, run in, drop the kids off and keep it moving.
All right.
Okay. What are the hours and days of operation?
So we're Monday through Friday from, I think, 6:30 a.m. until 6:30 p.m.
Wow. Okay. You have help, I suppose.
I'm sorry?
You have extra help?
Extra help. Oh, as far as like employees?
Yes.
Yes, we have potential employees that are ready and wanting to get started.
And how many children?
The previous administrator said that about 52. Yeah, she said at one point she had 52. And I also saw as far as the, square footage and everything like that, that would be a proper, assessment of how many children will be able to be, cared for.
Whoa.
It's big inside. You wouldn't believe it.
What are the age groups?
We're doing from 6 weeks up to 12 years.
I'm looking at the.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm looking at the diagram that's on the screen right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Board questions?
Madam Chair, I believe we have Marka Fields from City Planning here. She was sworn in, and also Ms. Kramer.
Okay, Marka first.
Yeah, so I've talked to Mrs. Abdullah about this project, and we actually, the lot that she has behind is one that we approved through Land Bank. The one on the other side is owned by the state, the one that she doesn't currently own. The state owns it, and so I'm trying to work with her and possibly Land Bank to see if there's a way that we can bring it into Land Bank and transfer it to her or sell it to her. But we're in support of it. We know the Union Mile has offered spaces across the street. And so if she can use it and stabilize it, it would definitely be good for East 131st. So we are in support.
Thank you. Amanda?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Amanda Kramer from Union Mile Development Corporation. We have spoke to Ms. Abdullah several times. She's been very easy to work with and very excited about the opportunity to come into our neighborhood. She also has a successful daycare in another neighborhood of Cleveland, so this is not her first time trying to do something like this. She has voiced several times about trying to improve the surrounding area and has been really flexible dealing with some challenges in coming into this spot. So we fully support her application and are really excited at the prospect of adding another amenity for the community here.
Thank you. Has anybody heard from the council person? Kevin?
I'm sorry, are we speaking to me?
Anybody, including my office.
Wait.
From the council person, Mrs. Cookle.
No, we have no letters or emails from the councilman.
Okay. No other support or objections in the file?
No, nothing. We've received no letters of objections from the neighbors and or the councilman.
Okay. Mr. Donovan, do you have anything to add? Question?
Without the councilman weighing against it, I see nothing. In fact, it's one of the few times we get to hear about daycare in kind of a commercial area, which is good.
Right.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, as Mr. Donovan said, it's a daycare in a commercial area, and we really appreciate it when we see such a cooperative effort between the CDC and the city planning and the appellants that come before us. So I move that on calendar number 20-171 at 4120 East 131st Street, that we approve the variance for parking, and we wish you well and hope that you're able to acquire that extra piece of land. And we appreciate you've already made arrangements for parking in the meantime as a temporary basis.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Calendar 20-171 is granted. We'll ratify it next week and we'll send you a letter.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I appreciate your help and support.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck.
Calendar 20-173.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Calendar number 20-173 at 4295 West 155th Street. Deborah Knott, owner, proposes to convert a single-family house basement to a salon shop in a one-family zoning district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Okay, whoever's got their microphone on, turn it off. Show me my page. Okay, as usual, I'm going to read a statement looking for a response of I do in your name. Here we go. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Deborah Meadows. Yes, I do. James Meadows.
Yes, I do.
Your name?
Thomas Jordan.
Anyone else? Last call. Let's move on to history.
Okay.
Turn your microphone off, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Donovan. Madam Chair, there's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In the records room I found, a permit was issued. Please mute your microphones.
Actually, I think that's Mr. Donovan.
There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In the records room, I found a permit was issued in 1956 to erect a single-family dwelling. In 1957, a permit was issued to erect a private garage. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history.
Thank you very much. Yielding to the Law Department, Ms. Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the off-street parking regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such as there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. Who's going to be this spokesperson? Was Deborah not born in?
Hello? Yeah, we were reading and doing the swearing in, but our video does not kick on.
Okay.
Oh, can I put the cameras share the browser? Is it turned on?
Do you need to be sworn in?
We do not, but we're having troubles with getting the camera to work.
You went to the first.
Can you hear us?
We can hear you.
Well, as long as you can see the screen and we can hear you, you can go ahead and make the presentation.
Okay, well, what would you like us to talk about as far as the business?
Address the variance request items.
Well, I'm requesting to have a home-based hair salon for business at my house in the lower level. And we have ample space. We sent in the floor plan. And we have letters from our neighbors that have been sent in recommending that they feel it's a good thing. We have plenty of parking if needed in the driveway. And we have photos of the proposed, everything's all ready to go. And we only needed to add just a couple sinks and shampoo bowls. The business, everything was already remodeled previously, other than adding the, as I said, the sinks and the shampoo bowl to do the business.
Oh, I see. We have a letter from the councilman in support. Okay. Who else will turn in? Oh, here's another letter from
Four additional letters from neighbors.
Okay. Warren Hill has no objection. He lives at 4300 West 155th.
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm reading the letters that are on the screen. Jennifer Carter is in support.
Boy, you got the worst microphone today, Carol.
Yeah, you keep breaking up.
Can everybody hear Deborah Meadows?
What does city planning think of this?
We based on the support of the councilman and all of the surrounding neighbors, we would support this variance. There's plenty of on-street parking. They cannot have a sign on the house advertising the business, but we definitely support this proposal.
To me, this is like zoning 101, where you have. Why do you have zoning? If you're gonna support a business in the middle of a residential street, why do you have zoning? Because I've been here 20 years, and I don't think we've ever approved anything like this in 20 years.
May I chime in?
We also have Tom Jordan from the local Community Development Corporation, I believe.
Hi, Tom Jordan, Bel Air Piers Development Corporation. With respect to the question of allowing commercial use on a residential street like this, there actually is precedent in the zoning code for allowing home-based businesses like a sole proprietor architect or a psychiatrist could practice in their own home. And when we discussed this with Ms. Knotts, one of the key things that led to us being supportive is the fact that it's just going to be her operating here. And we felt that in terms of intensity or impact on neighbors, we didn't really perceive a meaningful difference between her providing this service versus, say, an architect or a lawyer providing their professional service, which is allowed in a residential district as an accessory use.
But it's not spelled out, is it? Is it spelled out? Beauty salon, barber?
No, it is not. A beauty salon is not spelled out as a use, but I think what Mr. Jordan is saying is that, this is a one-person shop and the use would not be any more intensive as an architect or a doctor or any other actual allowed uses in a residential neighborhood. And we have overwhelming support from all of the neighbors, the councilmen, the CDC, and we do have a somewhat unique time right now, I think, which is probably one of the drivers of this situation.
What are the hours and days of this operation, please?
Can you repeat that, Madam Chair? You're breaking up.
I think she wants hours, days. What are
your hours, days, Ms. Knotts?
Can I raise my hand?
Sure.
I just wanted to say that I pretty much only see one person at a time. At the most, I would have one person leaving and one coming, and there's 6 feet. I have 3 rooms. There's no reason for anybody to ever even come close to each other. And I don't have any signage outside, and it's just going to be me as the employee and working person. So it's never going to be crowded, and my neighbors they're all supporting me. Actually, some of them have been my clients in the past. I had 15 years in 2 different locations in Fairview Park as an owner of my business. So it's not like I'm new at it. And I am licensed by the Cosmetology Board as an educator for a color company and a skincare company. So I know my business very well, and I plan on it being very professional.
I need the hours and the days of operation.
The hours that I'm normally closed Sundays and Mondays, and the hours usually are like noon to 7 in the evening. Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays is from like 9 to 5.
Okay.
So, Ms. Knotts, how many clients are you able to accommodate in your space? Or, knowing very often that, someone may be having color process and you fix, you do a haircut while they're processing. How many clients do you anticipate seeing or having on premise at any one point?
Is this Elena?
Yes,
I'm speaking to.
Alana.
So as I said earlier, I always take one client at a time. I don't do a haircut while a client's color's on. I bring a client in. She may be with me 2 to 3 hours. She gets a color, a cut, and she leaves. And then another client would come. And if I'm finishing her hair, another one may come, and I may say, go into the next room. I'll be with you as my other client is on her way out. So I don't, and at this time with COVID, I never did business that way anyway, but now we definitely don't do business that way. And we make sure we're taking all the COVID restrictions into hand as to how things should be done.
So if you're operating with your clients coming in that sequence, are you able to accommodate their cars then in your driveway?
Yeah.
So you won't need the parking on street.
If you look at the driveway, photo that we sent in, we sent a photo of the drive from the street. If somebody could put it up there. I know I saw it earlier. There's a picture of.
I think Maurice is working on getting back to that right now. So.
Okay.
I'm sorry. What did you want?
Maurice, if you can go to the driveway picture, so we can look at the driveway? Thank you.
Okay, this is my driveway, and if you see in the far back, there's two vehicles parked side by side. Each vehicle can, no, those aren't our pictures. Oh, that is our pictures. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In the back, you can see it's a double garage, and there's room for two vehicles in the back, both of which can come and go without moving the cars. And then I have room for more, but there's never a reason because there was only going to be no more than two at a time. And my car is parked in the garage.
Okay, great.
Anybody else?
Are there any other comments?
I'll entertain a motion.
Okay. Madam Chair, with regard to calendar number 20-173 at 4295 155th Street. As Mr. Donovan mentioned, typically this is not a variance that we grant, but these are unusual circumstances and there's overwhelming support for this variance. So I move that we go ahead and approve these variances based on the fact that Ms. Knotts is going to be the sole stylist using the facility, and that the parking needs will be accommodated on the driving pad and parking pad of their residence.
I'll second. Call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's one other question. Do we want to put a stipulation that there would be only one customer at a time, or two customers at a time? How would you like to make that part of the motion, or are we fine as is?
One at a time.
Well, Madam Chair, I think it's reasonable that, you know, she may have one client arrive while one is departing. So there might be some overlap of, you know, 10, 15 minutes, which I think is, you know, probably reasonable. And she's going to adhere to, you know, COVID restrictions voluntarily, she said. So.
This is a tough call, because it goes to the life of the property.
Liz, did you understand what Carol said?
I believe she said she has some concerns about it going with the life of the property. It is, as you know, Ms. Faith, the variances are not granted to the owner of the building. They're granted to the property. So if the owner were to move, then we could possibly have a new owner that comes in and wants to do the same thing at the site.
Or anything allowed under that particular code and variance.
Mr. Donovan, it's my understanding that we can restrict the use with our language in our resolution. So they could not substitute any other business without coming back to you.
So I think if to Mrs. Johnson, if you wanted to restrict the clients, I think capping it at 2 would be reasonable. Is that something you'd want to do?
But well, somehow, I don't know. I want to say the servicing it one at a time. So even if somebody else drove in the drive, you know, that's fine.
Okay.
So in other words, I don't want the hair color to be one person and the haircut another.
Am I allowed to talk?
Yes.
Sure.
I would not be working on 2 clients at a time. I don't do that. I work on 1 client, and that client might finish her hair while if another one is coming in, but I don't work on 2 at a time.
Well, that's why I want it stated in the resolution, because of the life of the property. The next woman may not be as good as you.
I don't understand.
Okay.
Yeah, so Madam Chair, to Ms. Faith, it sounds like it would be the exception that she would have 2 customers at one time and or them crossing and being there at the same time. So it seems like putting the condition on there would be all right, because it's not going to be often that she'll have that situation. So I think that it's probably safe for us to just put that condition on there, that there would be 1 stylist and 1 customer at a time.
Okay. All right. So I think that amendment to the motion is fine. So we'll limit it to, because it does go with the life of the property. So we'll limit it to 1 stylist and 1 customer, 1 client at a time.
Great.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Donovan.
No.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
The more unsophisticated applicants.
It doesn't mean anything until they get denied. Let's face it.
Are we allowed to say anything?
Or ask anything.
And
No.
Mr.
This is not an
Donovan.
open. This is not an open meeting at this point, I don't believe.
What? So I just have one thing I'd like to say. That who do I talk to at this point? I mean, our city councilman and Melissa Miller were in support of us for Ward 16. We've talked to them, and there's nothing else we can do at this point.
Mr. Donovan, could I say one thing? This is Liz Kukla.
Go for it.
We are not sure that this specific appellant was actually logged in at the very beginning of the hearing. She may have come in after the chairwoman made the statement.
I think that this is a discussion that ought to be had at an executive committee level. And therefore I would ask that either if you want to, at the end of today's meeting, have an executive committee, or before next meeting have one, I would suggest that is the forum in which to talk about this.
Sure. And to the appellant, what you will need to do is submit to us a request for reconsideration, and put the reasons that you would like for reconsideration, and we will consider it at the next hearing.
Ms. Kukla, why don't you send the appellant the copy of the board rules for rehearing and reconsideration? So she
Absolutely.
knows what the bases are.
Yes, I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Okay.
Thank you.
Calendar 20-140.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Calendar number 20-140 at 12716 Buckeye Road. WEBH Inc. owner proposes to establish use as a carry-out restaurant in a C2 residence office district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Thank you very much. Yep.
Everyone for this case? Is everyone for this case? Please raise your right hand. I'm going to give a statement, and afterwards I'm going to ask for a response of I do with your name. Here we go. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, my name is Mazan Ali.
Thank you.
Yes, my name is Tanya Griffith Bullard.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I believe, can I speak?
Sure.
I believe my architect should be, I think he's logged in, but.
Is that Daryl Mapson?
Yes.
Yeah, I see him logged in.
Well, we'll just swear him in then when he gets here and starts to speak. Anyone else? Let's go to history.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally zoned general retail in 1984. Oh, sorry. In 1924, it was zoned general retail. In 1984, it was changed to local retail. And then, Madam Chair, in 2011, it was changed to residence office. We have several variance cases on file, Madam Chair. In calendar 89-238, a variance was granted to erect an odd-shaped pole sign. In calendar 93-146, a variance was granted to change use from a restaurant to food preparation for Head Start. And then in calendar 13-122, a variance was denied to request change of use to a bar. And Madam Chair, in those zoning variance cases, we found that in 1972, the building was originally erected as a carry-out restaurant. And we see, Madam Chair, that between 2005 and 2018, there were yearly food licenses issued to the property. And in 2018, a certificate of disclosure was issued stating that the authorized use was as an adult daycare. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Okay. Okay. Legal standard.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such as there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variance not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay. Mr. Lee, tell us exactly what you'd like to do.
Whoever's going to represent this project, you want to step forward out of the microphone and tell us what you want to do here?
Did we swear in Mr. Mapson?
Not yet.
See,
Mr. Mapson, we're not hearing you, and yeah, you need to be sworn in.
Mr. Mapson, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I'm looking for an I do here.
We can't hear you for some reason.
Yeah.
Can you at least put your face on the thing and then give us a thumbs up or something?
Yep, there he is.
Where?
He's right there. I see him.
Can you give me a thumbs up?
He did.
All right, thank you. Move on.
But that's not much good if we can't hear him.
Well, Madam Chair, we do have Mr. Ali. I believe he's the owner.
That's who I called on first.
Yes, my name is Mr. Ali. I am the owner of the property.
Okay.
And I'm Tanya Griffith Bullard. I will be leasing the property for 5 years.
Maybe Miss Bullard, because they had the best idea what's going to go on there.
This is Tanya Griffith Bullard. I would like to open a carry-out restaurant, which will be called Sweet Tea's Kitchen. It's a multicultural restaurant where we will serve different cuisines such as soul food, Jamaican food, vegan food, and vegetarian food. We will be hopefully to open from 6 a.m. 10 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, Sunday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and closed on Monday for training.
Okay, thank you.
We also have the neighborhood endorsing us, and we also have our councilman Ken Johnson endorsing us.
Do we have any letters of support?
We have the neighborhood support, we have BBC support, and we also have the neighborhood as well as Ken Johnson, the councilman.
Yes, Marketfield City Planning. We actually had a community meeting where we met with residents in the area. They were very supportive, as well as the CDC. I think it'll be a nice reuse of the building and offer a service to the community that I think the community will appreciate. We are in support of it. It will go to a local design review committee meeting, so we'll review the design. I believe it's the date of it is December 2nd of our next meeting, and so we will get them on that agenda so that they can present to the local committee to get their project approved for design review.
Mr. Lee, do you have anything to add?
Can somebody address the variances again?
Excuse me?
The variances, which, is it just a use variance or what?
No, I'm the owner of the property. Can you explain to me what does that mean to explain to you the variances?
Can you put the sheet up with the variances, Maurice?
Coming up.
Madam Chair, I could speak to that. This is Liz.
Here we go.
The residence office does not allow for restaurant use. It's first permitted in local retail. The residence office only allows what it's stated in the title, that residential uses and office uses.
So the question is whether or not this is an appropriate use in the design in the zoning district. Is that it?
Correct.
Okay. Do you understand that, sir? The basic argument is that you have to make here is that they put a new zoning classification here, and they want to drive office use, business use here, and they don't have carry-out restaurants as one of the uses that are automatically allowable. So you have to make the argument, and I think you have started to do that this is a service the neighborhood wants, needs, and will support.
Yes, well, basically, Tanya, I've been working with Tanya. She's the one going to lease the space from me. We've been working with her for a little over 5 years. And then when I purchased this property, she came. I spoke with Tanya about the property for her to put a kitchen there, and she came and she basically came. She put a camp. She camped and she put. Basically, she started using the parking lot to sell food out of the parking lot, and for the neighborhood. And the neighborhood, they came in and they lined up all over the property, and basically they loved her food, and they wanted. Until today, they've been calling Tanya for her to see when she's gonna come back and cook, to sell her food into the community. And this is when me and Tanya said, okay, this is going to be this is going to be something good for the neighborhood. I think the neighborhood love you. The neighborhood love your food. I think this is a very good step up, and let's go ahead and make the next step. And the next step is this is when we draw the plans, when we submitted the application to the city zoning, and then I believe the city zoning, they had us on a board, but it was withdrawn from the Buckeye Community Group. They wanted us to have a meeting with them, and we had a meeting on October 26th to see the point of view of the community to support this project, and that meeting went well. So, hopefully we can change the use of change in this property and, bring it back to life. And we just want support from the city zoning to do so. Thank you.
Okay. Very good story.
Thank you.
I mean, the city is supporting this, correct?
The city, Buckeye Community Group is supporting it. The councilman, Kevin, he's supporting it as well. And the community supporting it as well. There's a lot of people that they know Tanya, and they know her food, what she cooked. And the way how I see it, it's it's a win-win for Tanya, but we need a support from the city as well. I am the property owner of the building, and I would like to develop it because I can see Buckeye from 116 all the way up to 130. There's a lot of, there's a lot of condemned apartments, and there's a lot of condemned storefronts. I believe if we can come in and do something like this, something beautiful like this, I will believe that people who have storefronts will start stepping up and do the same, and hopefully we'll bring in more people into the area. And all these storefronts that are condemned and that apartments are falling apart, the owners will start stepping up and at least fixing them, and giving people some chances to come and rent that space from them. But this is to me it's a step forward for the community. To renovate. To come in and to renovate, for the community, so some other people can come in and step up and fix the neighborhood better.
It's a welcome attitude and a welcome storyline. As I said before, I have one quick question. I'm ready to make a motion. Is Tanya's nickname Sweet Tea?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Madam Chair, given the testimony I've heard, I would move that we would grant the variance in this case, allowing for the use in this particular district.
Second.
Call the roll. Come on.
Thank you. I didn't hear the chairwoman. I'm sorry. Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yep.
Ms. Johnson? Calendar 20-140 is granted. It'll be ratified next week, and we will send you a letter.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, we're done. Old business. Huh? Carol, are you still with us?
I see her.
She's muted.
I'm sorry. Without objection.
Without objection.
Are we having a meeting with the director?
No, Madam Chair. He needs to meet next week. And we're trying to work out a 9 a.m. so that we don't have to wait till the end. So please stand by for that invite. I'll send you an email. We're just making sure. He contacted me over the weekend to change this. So, and please note we have two other items on the old business right now.
Yes, they like to reschedule. Councilman Brancatelli. And on 117th Street. Oh, wow. We know that was going to happen.
Whatever she said, I support it.
Okay.
So Carol, Ms. Johnson, I think that it looks like you have two calls going. That might have.
Yeah, you're logged in twice.
Oh.
So I think that might be causing the sound.
Could be part of the problem, yeah.
I apologize that I didn't know. Okay. See you next week.
Are we done with business? Are we ready to make a motion to adjourn?
We have one question about executive committee.
Oh, yes, go ahead, Tim.
Wait, we are still connected. We're still recording.
If you want to do go into executive committee, we can do that.
Well, I think maybe so that we would have full complement of board members. It would be better to have the executive committee with the other board members in attendance. I would suggest maybe before next meeting, 9 a.m.
And so next meeting, Kelly's back?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Well, there's an error on this old business. Oh, Kelly Britt was not there, obviously.
Can I speak? This is Lori Wagner.
Sure.
If you're gonna have an executive session at 9 o'clock, you'd have to post the meeting to start at 9 o'clock and then make a motion to go into executive session.
Okay, well, let's have it afterwards then.
That's probably easier because then you don't have to post the meeting for a different time.
Okay.
And another thing I would like to do and make a request here, being that we're going to be virtual for a while, I need some text that I can put up on the screen, and this I think will cover things a lot better. So I'll put it up whenever we don't have a full complement. I can put that up right up when Lori reads her legal standard, and I can add that text at the beginning of every single case. So there'll be no doubt, because normally in person, Carol, you normally make that announcement before every case. So this would be a good way to remind everyone that, you know, we do not have a full complement. You have the right to postpone until a full complement. And that way, instead of just saying it once at the beginning of the meeting, and granted, there are many instances where people don't sign in until after the beginning. So if I could get some legal verbiage from, I don't know who, Lori or Liz, or that would be great.
That would be great.
I have that scripted somewhere. I'll find it for you, give it to you.
And that way we're covered. I can just throw it in there whenever you tell me that we're not going to have a full complement, and it'll be on display before every single case.
Okay.
And we're going to have to think of what the verbiage is when you have 4 trustees there and you have a vote of 2-2. What does that mean?
Oh, okay. I might have to have Lori help me with that. I don't think I have that scripted anywhere already written in text.
Yeah, Liz, send me what you have and I'll take a look at it.
Okay. Maurice, can I ask one more thing about the swearing in? Because it seems really sloppy. Is there any way we can have people raise their hand and then you call each person that has their hand raised, and then we ask if there's anybody else?
If you want, I like the way Tim does it. He asks everybody to raise their hand. I mean, the problem is not everybody appears on the sheet that I have of people that were invited, because people send their invites to other people. They don't have their names logged in the way their name actually is. It's impossible to decipher.
Well, the thing is if we can get the ones that are in there, the names that are in there first, then we can have the non-identified people, because I can't hear the names when people swear in. Right. I can't always hear who's being sworn in.
Yeah, I know that people, and you know what? We have this at every single board and commission. People are like, they're okay to talk, but they can't say their freaking name. Oops, right. We're live. Let me,
right.
we need to shut the meeting down. Hold on a minute.